Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, otherwise known as Amish country, is a vast and serene countryside that draws millions of people each year. But it also has some really beautiful and quaint towns scattered throughout this countryside. This is the first of a new series I'm doing featuring these amazing little towns. It was easy to pick Bird-in-Hand to be first in this video sequence because it's absolutely one of my favorites, and I hope you will see why in this video. So stay tuned for my top 10 things to do in the lovely town of Bird-in-Hand, Pennsylvania. So first, let's talk location. I'm pretty impressed with this little clip from Google Earth. It is so much fun for me and hopefully for you to watch us zoom in and give us this really cool aerial view of this cozy town. You can pretty much see everything we're going to talk about right there in that little stretch of road. And that road is Route 340, aka Old Philadelphia Pike. And it runs east and west from close to downtown Lancaster City to the farthest, most eastern edges of Lancaster County. One of the things I love most about this town is its central location in Lancaster County. Many popular spots and eateries are within a 10 to 15 minute drive from Bird-in-Hand, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to tell you about all the fun activities and delicious food that are available directly in the town of Bird-in-Hand, and all but one place on this list is within walking distance of each other. Okay, so now we're going to jump into the list, but hang on to the end of the video for a listing of special events and offerings in Bird-in-Hand throughout the year, as well as my lodging suggestions. Starting off the list at number 10 is a visit to the little shops around town. Here is a list of the shops in Bird-in-Hand, honestly some of which I didn't even know about because I'm not a huge shopper. But these shops offer a fun variety and are all within walking distance to each other. So we got the Speckled Sheep, which is knitting supplies, creative rustic furniture, Fisher's handmade quilts, Village Country Crafts, which is inside the farmer's market by the way, Ruthie's Apparel, Log Cabin Quilt Shop, and Modish Lancaster, which is like a vintage shop, kind of antique-y in there. There's also a little shop in the parking lot of the farmer's market, but Google didn't recognize it and I don't have any footage of it, but I know it. I'm pretty sure there's like yard design and decor that you can buy there. But wait, I have breaking news. I think a lot of you are going to be excited about this. So coming spring of this year, 2023, from my understanding, they are repurposing the old village store and it will now be the Artisan Village. And here's the info I found on the BirdinHand.com website. So you can read this for yourself at your convenience, but I do want to mention that the village store here has some pretty long history. They say it dates back to the 19th century and it was a hardware store that was very popular for a very long time. Here is a list of the vendors who are already expected to be a part of the village. We have BGC Home, which is homespun linens, Cloverfield Bags, which are obviously beautiful fabric handbags, totes and luggage, Timbermade Design, which is a way to have handcrafted furniture or farmhouse decor for your home. And then there is Urban Southern, which is real leather shop, bags, totes, etc., wallets. And then finally we have Welsh Mountain Candle Company, making some neat candles. Next at number 9 is to see a show at the Bird-in-Hand Stage. Did you know that there was a great little theater under the Bird-in-Hand family restaurant? Well, there is, and it may be small, but it is mighty in talent. They usually offer several shows a year, and this is true for this year as well. I have a link in the description below for your convenience to their website, as well as a link to their YouTube video that features their shows for this year. I have seen a couple shows here, and I really enjoy the cozy space and the very talented performers. I definitely highly recommend this place for a show, and even better, make it a dinner and a show or a lunch and a show because that's a really fun option. At number 8 on the list is a visit to the petting zoos / playgrounds in Bird-in-Hand. Now 2 of these are within walking distance in the town, and the other is at the Bird-in-Hand Bake Shop along Gibbons Road, which we will cover later. The 2 in town are first at the Burnham Bakery, and then the second one is behind the Burnham Family Inn, way in the back of their property. It's actually very peaceful back there, and there is parking available, so you can go and kind of hang out there and visit. There's a lot of these scattered throughout Lancaster County, but that's usually what they are, is the kind with the fence where you can feed them through the fence and pet them through the fence. Next at number 7 is to play a round of miniature golf at Water's Edge Mini Golf, seasonally of course. They're open April through most of October each year. It is a really neat course, and miniature golf is always a fun outing with friends and family. And a bonus free thing to do while you're back there in that area of the property, take a walk around the peaceful pond or sit and relax while watching the ducks or geese. It's so pretty back there, and a nice way to just kind of enjoy a warm afternoon, and also it's right by the petting zoo, so it's just kind of a neat little area to do some extra activities back behind the family inn and restaurant. Coming in at number 6 is a ride with the Strasburg Scooters at their Bird-in-Hand location, which is right here in the middle of town. This is something that I have not done yet, but is definitely on my bucket list. They offer all sorts of guided tours and even seasonal and holiday events, as well as date nights and even a tour with the food stop and all sorts of tours. You can actually customize them to how you want them to be, so it's a really great offering for a fun way to enjoy the countryside. Prices range from about $89 to $189 with a duration of 2.5 to 3 hours. Next at number 5 is absolutely one of my favorite things about this town, is to have a seat and just take in the sights and local flair of the town. The best place to do this, in my opinion, is in the front lawn of the Bird-in-Hand Family Inn. But you can also do this in front of the Bird-in-Hand Bakery where there is outdoor seating. You are pretty much guaranteed a few buggy sightings and even maybe a scooter sighting as well. We have stayed at the Bird-in-Hand Family Inn, and sitting in the front yard and taking in the sights is one of the main things I love to do when I'm there. And this is just my opinion, but if you're a patron of Bird-in-Hand in any capacity, like the miniature golf or the bakery or the restaurant, I would say it should be allowed to go sit in those chairs because it really is a wonderful thing to do. And if you get in trouble, you can just blame me. Coming in at number 4 is a visit to the Bird-in-Hand Bake Shop on Gibbons Road, just outside of town. And I'm just going to apologize for this terrible low quality video. It was actually a live stream I did, and those were fun to do, but the quality is never as good. So I am very sorry, but hopefully you get the gist of what's kind of here. I know some of the members of this Lancaster loving community on this channel love this place and are very devoted to it. I know Jimmy and my friend Christine love it here, and it is a really neat place. I love the fact that it has some history. It's been around since 1972 and been family owned and operated since then, changing hands here and there but staying in the family. And pro tip, this is another great place to sit and watch the buggies and relax and enjoy the scenery. Next, at number 3 is a visit to the Bird-in-Hand Café and Bakery along the main road of 340 in the town of Bird-in-Hand. Not to be confused with the bake shop. Took me a while to figure that out, but I finally figured it out. So here they have a variety of sandwiches, salads, soups, smoothies, and delectable desserts. Lots of baked goods. They also make their own ice cream here, which is really cool. And they have a large selection of coffee and drinks as well. They also have a good amount of merch, by the way. If you want to buy shirts or little trinkets and little fun things, there's a lot in there. There is upstairs seating and outdoor seating too. I love that they have this bakery here because it's kind of like all the quality of the Bird-in-Hand restaurant, but in a smaller setting and a really cozy setting. And what's really fun about this is that they do have the petting zoo right outside and a playground. They also have a corn maze behind there in the summertime through September. So a lot of fun things to do in this little tiny bakery. Next at number 2 is one of the main attractions in the area, and it is the Bird-in-Hand Farmers Market. This market has been around for over 30 years and is popular among locals and out-of-towners alike. Their days and hours do change seasonally, so make sure you check their website, which is linked below, to make sure they are open when you want to go. They have so much packed in this little market. I say small because compared to big ones like Roots or Green Dragon, it's a little smaller. But one reason I do like it is because of its size. It's not overwhelming. You get what you need from a local market, and it's not so huge you get lost in the crowd. Of course, there are local meats and fresh produce available, but there's also hot food and even counter seating if you want to have a meal in here, and they're always well priced and just fun because it's all locals serving you and it's kind of fun to hang out. And like I mentioned previously, there are 2 sections of a gift shop down a level at the end, at the western end of the market. And by the way, the restrooms are really nice and they are really clean, and they are actually behind the buildings. You gotta walk out the doors to get to the restrooms, but they're super clean. Okay, hooray, we made it to the end, the number 1 spot. And if you know Bird-in-Hand at all, you know what I'm gonna say, and that is to go have a meal at the Bird-in-Hand restaurant. Now, the technical name is the Bird-in-Hand Family Restaurant and Smorgasbord, and it is one of the best in Lancaster, in my opinion, and many people's opinions. What is so great about this eatery, besides their amazing food and their great service, is the option of having either buffet or menu dining. Many of their tried and true local recipes have been served here since the original Grandma Smucker was cooking for the hotel patrons. And here's my personal opinion, though I know a lot of you agree with me too, that they have the very best ham-balls in Lancaster County. If you don't know what ham-ball is, it's a local dish, Pennsylvania Dutch dish, that is ground pork and ground ham, smoked ground ham, in a form of a meatball with this pineapple sauce, and it's delicious, and they serve it really, really well here. In fact, I've never had food here I didn't like, though I must say I'm not a fan of chocolate shoofly pie anywhere. I do like their regular shoofly pie here. It is very good, one of my favorites actually. They do offer breakfast, lunch, and dinner here Tuesday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Okay, so we got through the top 10 list, but I do want to go over some other offerings in this town throughout the year. Here are some annual events offered in Bird-in-Hand. First, and maybe the yummiest, is the Foss DriveUp, held each February, the day before Lent. If you don't know what a Foss is, it's basically a special donut made once a year before Lent, and they are delicious. It's definitely a Pennsylvania Dutch thing, and they're offered throughout Lancaster County and York County and a little bit beyond, but really is only once a year, so they're very, very fun to get the day that they are available. The next event is something held at the end of June each year. It is the Lancaster County Carriage and Antique Auction. It's held right across the street from the restaurant in the field behind the farm, so that's something they do every June. In that same field area is one of my favorite things. It is the Bird-in-Hand Half Marathon and 5K race weekend. It's always the weekend after Labor Day. It is more than a race. We just usually walk it just to enjoy the scenery, but it's a really fun community event. Lots of locals to hang out with, and it's just a fun way to spend time with the community. There's also, right after that, the Lancaster Hot Air Balloon Festival in mid-September. And lastly, they do host a neat little Christmas/winter holiday festival in the beginning of December in the town of Bird-in-Hand, usually around the bakery. There's all sorts of fun goodies and even a reindeer, so it's a neat little holiday weekend celebration. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about are my lodging recommendations. So there are several different ways you can stay at the Bird-in-Hand Inn/corporation. They have like village suites and they have other lodging throughout the town. The Burnham Family Inn is always my high recommendation because of all the amenities and all the fun things that come along with that. The biggest thing being to me the front yard and hanging out there. And of course, I've already mentioned the walking path in the back with the pond and the petting zoo and the miniature golf, so there's so much going on here. They also have 2 pools, one indoor and one out of doors. They also have a little fire pit on the west end of the property, and they have s'mores packages you can purchase and go out there and have a s'more party. There is also a complimentary 2-hour bus tour of Amish country they offer every day but Sunday, as well as discount tickets to their stage shows. Lastly, they have fun events throughout the year like farm to fork tours, a few cornfield banquets, and more. Make sure you check the website linked below for all the information you could possibly need about the Bird-in-Hand Family Inn. The next lodging option I recommend is a stay at the Grayson Manor Victorian Inn. So if you want elegance and a bit of an upgrade in your lodging experience, this is a great choice. I stayed here several years ago and really enjoyed it. They came under new ownership last year in June of 2022, and I do look forward to meeting them hopefully this year. It is a gorgeous inn with really beautiful grounds. The plants and greens and flowers are just stunning, actually. The inn has a history dating back to the mid-1800s and has been a B&B for over 50 years. It has beautiful Victorian charm to it and is well preserved. There are 13 rooms in 2 different buildings, suited for a variety of party sizes. And there is a pool. Their grounds, I think, are a big draw to this inn, and of course location, being in Bird-in-Hand. There's also farmland bordering the back of the property, so it makes for a really peaceful setting with some great views. So there you have it, a pretty expansive overview of the amazing little town of Bird-in-Hand. My kids make fun of me for saying this word, but this town is truly quintessential Amish country. It has a great blend of local flair and guest consideration. It is full of charm, and the people here are very genuine, which makes, in my opinion, a must-stop for anybody who's passing through. And if you do love Bird-in-Hand, and you have lots of reasons you love it, please leave me a comment, let me know why you love it and what your favorite things are. Or if you have questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section as well. So thank you for watching, and I hope you get to go to Bird-in-Hand soon and enjoy your next adventure.